Welcome to stage 1 of the Yunnan Gran Fondo, held in 5 different towns across the Yunnan province in China. This video is my race footage of the first 28 km, where we average 40 km per hour. Everything is filmed from my action camera, which is dangling below my mouth while my jaw grips onto a mounting piece for dear life for 42 minutes. Please excuse the breathing sounds. This video shows what it's like when you start near the rear of 1,600 cyclists and how we tried to chase down the scattered riders in front of us. Did we succeed? You be the judge. Today's stage is the only stage out of the 5 stages where we have 40 kilometers of flat road. All other stages are either rolling terrain or straight up mountain climbing. I'll be editing another video of the entire Yunnan Gran Fondo race experience and include my advice if you want to try something like this. Click subscribe below to see when it's out and leave a comment if you have specific questions about this epic race. The Yunnan Gran Fondo has been welcoming cyclists to the province for the past 12 years. It is the largest multi-day amateur cycling event in China, and sign-ups are extremely popular. This year, all available race slots were snapped up within 45 minutes, and over 2,100 riders successfully registered for the challenge. Riders will travel and race in 5 different cities from Mangshi, Tengchong, Fengqing, Simao, and finally Dehong. The total cycling mileage is 676 km and 12,300 meters of elevation gain. However, due to weather conditions, one stage will be drastically affected, and you can watch my next video to see what happened. Anyway, what I'm doing at this very moment in this stage race is also what I've learned through doing one-day races in Malaysia, which is, it is worth it to burn some fuel to chase down positions at the start, especially if it is flat terrain, because then you can be part of a peloton that is faster than you, instead of being part of a peloton that is the same speed or slower than you. Of course, a very real boost to your race results is also your position in the starting pen. Anyone who starts behind the first, say, 30% of the crowd is handicapped. First of all, you're standing around and doing nothing while people in the front are gaining important ground. For many races, including this one, your position is based on your finishing time and not your net time from the start to the finish line. The judges don't care how late you start, only who reaches the finish first. Another slightly more convoluted reason has to do with how cycling packs are not distributed equally. The riders near the front will be compact and working collectively to push the pace. In the middle, riders are more scattered, and if you want to leapfrog, you might have to be the one to put in the effort. At the rear, even if you manage to leapfrog, you might find that the gaps between various packs are pretty vast, which means that even more effort needs to be used to close the gap. You might see this happening in this video now and then. So this means that anyone who seriously wants to get a good position must arrive early at the starting pen to secure a good spot. But we didn't, and let me share why I'm not taking this race very seriously. Did you know that I'm actually not a good climber? Despite my scrawny frame, which might lead some to think that I'll be good at defying gravity, my muscles are not trained for the rhythm and pace of going fast on steep climbs. I will happily go steady on them, but I won't be aggressive. And I think what is a good illustration of this is how I never ever ride off saddle to punch up a climb, even when it's a 20% incline. Next, the Yunnan Gran Fondo is mostly a race of climbs, and more importantly, a race of descents. All of the stages are looping routes, which means that whatever we gain in the ascent, we will lose on the descent. I'm also not great at descending, and worst of all, I am still quite traumatized from crashing twice in 3 days in Thailand about a month ago on this Factor Monza. No matter how good you are at climbing, if you are shite at descending, you will simply watch dozens of riders whiz past you. And now the biggest reason why I'm not taking this race seriously, because I am far, far below the level you would need to train to be to even contest the top 20. The riders here are beautifully strong, and all I'm here to do is to ride safely, do my best without injuring myself on my 1134 5034 gearing, and soak in the incredible atmosphere of this special race. With over 1,600 riders today, this is the biggest ever race I have ever joined. In races with a smaller number of participants, you might end up riding all alone in no man's land. Whereas this is actually the first race I've ever done where there was always someone around. And it is really nice to be suffering alongside others. Races are always self-selecting. It takes a certain amount of resources, including willpower, to turn up at the start line. And it takes a certain kind of attitude to want to do this to yourself. Now, imagine being among hundreds of other people who might be different from you in many ways, but who share that same joy of moving their body and bicycle. How very nice. Now, if you ask me what are the differences between racing in China versus in Singapore, I actually can't tell you because I've never raced in Singapore. All of the race events I've ever done were overseas in Malaysia or Indonesia. But what I can share are my reflections and projections. First of all, the scale is just way different in many different aspects. The scale of the land and available road is one obvious one. For the Yunnan Gran Fondo, we are racing nearly 700 km on entirely closed roads. In Singapore, the entire country is a city, and road closures for events are rare and confined to one area. Another scale difference is in the types of bicycles and riders. With a greater total population, the absolute number of riders and niche bicycles will also be higher. I saw so many interesting frames and paint jobs, wheels with colorful rims, and so many fun jerseys. The number of people supporting the race was also significant. For every single stage, there were about 500 staff and volunteers manning the nutrition booths, taking amazing photos of the riders, helping with first aid and medical care, and a lot of other important roles. Next, the level of experience in the legs. Sadly, Singapore just doesn't have the terrain for mountains, no long climbs, no long descents. And in fact, if Singapore riders want to cycle on the road without stopping every 10 minutes, we have to venture across the Malaysia border to cycle in Johor Bahru. In Singapore, unless you are riding carefully curated routes with fewer traffic lights, you will be stopping and resting all the time. I'm trying to be optimistic, so what I will say is that despite all these geographic circumstances, there are many devoted and resourceful cyclists who train hard to do well in terrains that are very different from the ones back home. Before I end the commentary, let me thank the Rapha Shanghai and Rapha Singapore teams, and of course the Yunnan Gran Fondo organizers for supporting my journey to this epic, beautiful race. It is already the most scenic race I have ever done, and we've only just begun. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the race footage, and I hope to see you in the next video, which will bring you to all 5 stages and share some advice if you're planning to join next year. Okay. Whew. Can long day. Woo. shit! Sorry! Fuck! Yeah! Alright, watch out! Okay.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Up. Sand. And yo. Oh shit. Woo. Yup, yup. This is like Penang 800. Whew. Woohoo. Down. Going. Sand. Go. Go. Going. Whoop. Woo. Slow, slow. Yep.
小短坡，对，可以。
Watch it. Go in. Whew. Yeah. Whew. Oh yeah. Xa. 跟着屁股，这。慢。Oh, sand. Sand. Oh God. Woohoo! Yup, yup, yup. Right. Whew. Come, save energy. Drop, drop. Yeah, drop. 我们